Good evening, everyone. We are live. We are live. Zoe, I need you to move over into the camera. There you go. I got you in there. I got you in there. I got you in there this evening. Sorry for the delay. Make sure I got my camera right. All right, there we go. All right, good evening, everyone. We are joining everybody live tonight. We are simulcasting on YouTube at Men at MF BF on YouTube. We are simulcasting on Men 4, the number 4, Better Futures on Twitch. We are also simulcasting on Rumble at Men for Better Futures on Rumble. And we are also streaming live to you on YouTube as well. Zoe, we are tuning in live from on TikTok. Can we go ahead and put out your information there?
You can catch us on Zuvi Jackson TV. Again, that's Zuvi Jackson TV on TikTok.
All right. So good evening. And hey, plus we want to welcome back our brother Mr. Mr. But I ain't the one, the chosen one, the only one. Welcome back to your first inaugural show of the 2025 season. Welcome back, my brother. It is so good to see you. It's so good to see you. So we just want to thank you. We just enjoying that you are here to join us live this evening on this simulcast. We got a lot in store for you guys this evening. You know, we got quite a few things that we want to talk about. So I guess what we'll do is, since we've already pretty much done began the show, so I guess we want to go ahead on and we want to get to our topics for today. Let's go ahead. I'm going to get that pulled up right now. So could you read that for us that you got there on the screen?
Yeah, this is what you have on the screen.
This was a story that I saw today over the past couple of days, and there's been a lot of back and forth throughout Indian country. And you know, with me being one part robbed and one part stolen. So if you want to know the acronyms of that, I'll tell you that. I was robbed. My daddy was robbed from Africa. No, my daddy was stolen from Africa, and my people got robbed here in the United States. I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. One part robbed, one part stolen. So with that being said, I'm just going to read this title. It said, excluding Indians, Trump administration questions Native Americans' birthright citizenship. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article real quick. In the Trump administration, arguments defending his order to suspend birthright citizenship, the Justice Department called into question the citizenship of Native Americans born in the United States under the 14th Amendment, citing the 19th century law that excluded Native Americans from birthright citizenship. In the case on Trump's birthright citizenship, executive order coming out of Washington Justice Department, quote, the 14th Amendment, which reads that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdiction, therefore, are citizens of the United States, wherein they reside and hang there and they hang on that one argument or the one phrase, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Under the plan, terms of the clause, birthed in the United States does not by itself entitle a person to citizenship. The person must also be subject to jurisdiction of the United States. And the following reads. So we scroll down and it says that the Justice Department then goes on to cite the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which predates the 14th Amendment by 2 years. The Justice Department attorneys specifically cite a section of the act that notes that all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed, are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States. The Trump administration then goes on to argue that the 14th Amendment's language and phrases subject to the jurisdiction thereof is best understood to exclude the same individuals who were excluded by the act, i.e., those who are subject to any foreign powers and Indians not taxed. The Justice Department's attorneys return to the topic where or not Native Americans should be entitled to birthright citizenship. Let me read that one more time. The topic, whether or not Native Americans should be entitled to birthright citizenship. Later in their argument, citing the Supreme Court case Elks v. Wilkins, that's an 1866, 1866 case, in which the court decided that because members of Indian tribes owe immediate allegiance to the tribes, they are not subject to the jurisdiction under the United States Constitution. That is a quote from the United States Justice Department that is coming from yours truly, the Trump administration. The United States connections with the children of illegal aliens and temporary visitors is weaker than its connection with members of Indian tribes if the letter links is insufficient for bright citizenship. The former certainly is that Trump administration argued. All right. So comments on what I just read. We're gonna spend a few minutes on this topic. I really wanted to bring this topic up and I really wanted to discuss that because this one right here really touched me true and dear to my heart today when I first read this article on this afternoon. And it floored me. I said, well, dang. I said, well, that's going to say that every native born person that lives in the United States of America that's under the voice, under my voice right now is not a citizen of this country, and which I think is ridiculous. But these are the people that some people voted for during this election cycle. So we're gonna take this back and forth. We're gonna go around, and then I got a short video that I want to play, and it's gonna pretty much explain everything and tell of what I just discussed. Go ahead if y'all want to just weigh in on this, and what do y'all think about this topic?
How you gonna? First of all, how you gonna tell somebody they're not a citizen on their own land? Make it make sense. People done lost their cotton picking mind. On God, just like anybody else that's born in America deserve a birthright citizenship, Indians do too. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
So
yeah. On that same note, it's obviously wrong to be talking about sharing land with people who was here before you, and you know
Yeah,
how the government is. The government had already divvied up what they thought or believed was theirs in a way to give the Indians their portion or their reservation. And when they made these laws, the Indians, of course, was excluded from whatever the laws of the land outside of their jurisdictions. So in a way, it's like this is our land, regardless of what laws y'all make. It shouldn't affect us any way, bad or good, because we don't have nothing to do with what y'all government decide to come up with on Thursday, and then this Saturday y'all want to change it up again. 20 years from now, maybe 50 years from now, you're going to hear a different topic and them trying to move more people out the country in a different manner. But this is crazy to be
yeah.
trying to target the first people, right? So
so go ahead, Rep. You had something you want to say, chosen one?
No, go ahead. He did it.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to turn everybody's attention to a video that we're going to be getting ready to play. And then what we're going to do is we're going to discuss this topic on the other side. And I want y'all to excuse the words, some choice words that some individuals said. So I pulled a couple of clips from offline earlier today for us to be able to go through and be able to look and see what the outrage is throughout the country. All right, let me go ahead on and play this real quick. And then we'll talk to y'all on the other side.
They said that they finna deport the Native Americans to motherfucking where? Where is y'all finna send these people to? Around the corner?
They don't look like Indians to me.
They look down on us like we're nothing. Trump threatens the sovereignty of our native tribes. Project 2025 will make a huge impact on us as Liuna.
Trump's administration is now questioning the birthright citizenship of Native people.
This is not a drill. ICE is detaining members of the Navajo Nation. Let me say this again. Immigration and Customs Enforcement are detaining and questioning Indigenous people.
This they shit. How you gonna deport somebody from their own country? This they land. Never forget that. So where is y'all sending these people?
What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. We all gotta talk about this because when I first heard about this, I actually thought this has got to be a joke. But no, this is happening in real life. ICE raids are now targeting Native Americans. Yeah, you heard that right. Native Americans. The same immigration and customs enforcement that's supposed to deal with undocumented immigrants is out here actually trying to deport Native Americans. Unbelievable, right? These are the very people who have been in the land right before even the US actually existed. So now the backlash is rolling in heavy. Let's break it down and why it's even a conversation. If you're new to the channel, kindly subscribe, like this video, and drop me a comment of your opinion of today's episode. I'll be back with more commentary.
Hey, MAGA, let's talk about these racist ICE raids. And I know you guys want to say, oh, it's not about racism. It's about upholding the law. It's about ensuring that immigration is done properly. Okay, so riddle me this, Batman. If that's the goal, why don't we have any raids going on in the Brighton Beach area of Brooklyn? Why don't we have any raids going on in Boston, where Irish immigrants are well known to oftentimes overstay their visas? And why do we have reports of dozens of Navajo or Diné residents, Native Americans, in case you can't follow along? Why do we have dozens of reports of them in Arizona and New Mexico being detained and questioned to question their residency and their citizenships? These are Native Americans. Explain this to me. How is it not racist again? Tell me.
Bitch, y'all deporting the Native Americans. Now, where is y'all sending them folks? I did not mean to laugh, though, shade. Y'all, where is y'all sending them? Y'all forgetting this day country. Y'all can't think y'all sending them to my house. No, for real, because I ain't trying to get canceled or nothing. But where is y'all sending them? And it's no shade, baby. I don't have room over here, so y'all can't be sending them over here. We're on their land, y'all. Y'all best bet is to put them on house arrest. Thank you.
Trump's administration is now questioning the birthright citizenship of Native people. So let's talk about it. So Trump's Justice Department has started pointing to both the Civil Rights Act of 1866 as well as the Supreme Court case Elk v. Wilkins to defend revoking birthright citizenship for a range of immigrants in the U.S. This is because both the act and Supreme Court decision deny Native people birthright citizenship, with the court decision saying that Indigenous people owe allegiance to their tribe and are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. With that rationale, Trump's Justice Department is saying, and I quote, "The United States connection with the children of undocumented immigrants and temporary visitors is weaker than its connection with members of Indian tribes. If the latter link is insufficient for birthright citizenship, the former certainly is." Now, this is a deeply flawed and dangerous argument. I mean, on the face of it, birthright citizenship in the U.S. is a constitutional right, one that's even being defended right now by a Reagan-appointed judge. But beyond that, this administration is ignoring how, in 1924, the Indian Citizenship Act provided birthright citizenship for all Native people in the U.S., effectively overturning previous legislation and rulings. Now, I myself am Native. I'm part of the Lumbee tribe, and my tribe, unfortunately, majority voted for Trump. And right now, I'm really hoping that other Lumbees, as well as other Native people, can look at this and see Trump for what he is. This man ran on lowering the price of oil and groceries. But you know what he's really focused on right now? Questioning our right to birthright citizenship. Ultimately, removing birthright citizenship for anyone in the U.S. is not only deeply flawed and problematic, but could lead to a very dangerous slippery slope. And these sorts of actions should really have us all on high alert.
They said that they finna deport the Native Americans to motherfucking where? Where is y'all finna send these people to? Around the corner? This they shit. How you gonna deport somebody from their own country? This they land. Never forget that. So where is y'all sending these people?
Well, it looks like Donald Trump's attempt to get rid of birthright citizenship is about a lot more than just immigrants. It's also about stripping citizenship from indigenous people. Justice Department lawyers are arguing that the 14th Amendment reads, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States." And that they're arguing that because indigenous people owe allegiance to their tribe, they are not under the subject of the jurisdiction of the United States and thus are not entitled to American citizenship or to birthright citizenship. Once again, this is just white supremacy at work, folks.
Multiple reports from Phoenix, Arizona indicate that members of tribal nations are being harassed by immigration officers, and at least one member of the Navajo Nation was detained and released by ICE. This is a devastating result of racial profiling and a stark reminder of settler colonial violence. To my indigenous brothers and sisters out there, please stay safe and take care.
This is not a drill. ICE is detaining members of the Navajo Nation. Let me say this again. Immigration and Customs Enforcement are detaining and questioning indigenous people. The issue started when reports came out that some Navajo people who have proof of their Native American identity were stopped and detained by ICE agents. Despite showing their valid tribal documents, ICE agents didn't recognize them. Indigenous people are indigenous to this country. They quite literally were here first. Now, when it comes to the so-called Uncle Sam paperwork, Native Americans were granted U.S. citizenship through the Indian Citizenship
Oh, the audio to the video.
Well, Unc Show finding every loophole he can, boy, to try to change things around here, boy. He going to read and finding one word to give him power.
You never know.
They give him life.
This isn't happening in a vacuum.
Oh, boy,
the current president has long admired Andrew Jackson, the very president responsible for the Trail of Tears. and
Long
policies
knife
that
Jackson.
displaced and devastated Native nations. And now history feels like it's repeating itself. So what can you do? Well, stay informed. Talk to your tribal leadership. Educate yourself and your communities on the challenges that are coming ahead. Together we can all stand strong on these attacks on our sovereignty. And before I close, I'd want to also talk about what this means for First Nations in Canada. The current president has repeatedly suggested that he wants Canada to become the 51st state. And for many, this seemed like, political rhetoric. It seemed impossible a month ago. But given the recent actions, especially the attacks on native sovereignty in the US, it's not such a far-fetched idea anymore. If such a scenario were to unfold in Canada, what would that mean for our sovereignty as Indigenous people here in Canada? Would we face similar challenges and choices? It's time that we too take this rhetoric seriously. Our leadership needs to start thinking about contingencies to ensure that our sovereignty is protected, no matter what happens south of the border.
Alright, guys, there you have it. But let's start with the obvious. How does a government
So with us just listening to that, I just want to see how everybody feel on this topic. I know that when we sit around and we joke and we play around with each other, but at this point it's just almost like it's getting to a point where who is an American in Trump's America? Who matters in Trump's America? That's just my question.
The number one thing we gotta go ahead and you call a spade a spade. You call a snake a snake. You gotta stop making excuses and accept reality for what it is. Like, hey, if indigenous people who we all know they took the land from, if African American people were robbed from their land and bought here, I mean, who are the citizens? Who's considered an American? We know the truth. We just gotta accept it.
Zoe?
Well, you just gotta ask yourself the little silly questions that Donald Trump is trying to provide for us to understand, which nobody got the answers for because the indigenous people was here first and all of their kids was born on the land. But any and everybody from as far as 1776 when the United States gained their independence from Britain, everybody who was coming here as an immigrant, what does that mean for them and their legacy? Does that retroactively take away other people's rights? We got to ask the deeper question: who's getting the privilege to come here as a legal citizen and it's not being documented, or at least we're not finding out who are these people, right? Like, we know a lot of immigrants come from the southern border, but they also come throughout different countries from out the world. So what country is allowed, or what is the answer? Like, who is allowed and how long can they stay in? If it's just white people, where are they coming from? And they're not getting any press because white people already are the majority of the country. Immigrants coming in, it's not making them any less of the majority. It's just opening up the pool for more people to be included in the census. So I don't know. I don't think it's right. Nobody think it's right, but let's see where this goes.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. Well, you know how I feel about the whole situation, but at the end of the day, these people are actually quoting a Civil Rights Act from 1866.
And again, it's just an act.
1866, 2 years before birthright citizenship, before the 14th Amendment was ratified to the Constitution. Mind you, let me share this tab. Let's get this up. Take a look at the screen real quick. I want you to start off by reading the first part of that conversation at the top of that screen. What does that say?
Native
Can one of y'all
Americans
read that for
became
me?
citizens in June 2nd, 1924, when prevalent President Calvin Coolidge signed the Indian Citizenship Act, also known as the Snyder Act, granting citizenship to all Native Americans born within the United States, and that's been since 1924. So what Trump want to do is go before 1924, about 40 years before, in the 60s, and try to reclaim that act. Again, these are all acts, right? Acts are due to expire. They're not imprinted in the Constitution. It's not going to be something that, it's not law. It's just an act. Civil Rights
Could you
Act.
explain that for the audience?
What, an
Well,
act?
he
Yep.
pretty much just did.
Yeah, it's an
He
act.
pretty much just did.
It's a law that's in place to act upon something like the Bill of Rights, the 27 amendments, because when it's enshrined into law, then it's like national law. You can't refute it. It's going to be taken up to the Supreme Court. That's what acts are. Anything that's an act has a lifespan. The Civil Rights movement, the Civil Rights Act was like a act for what, 60 years, and Trump was trying to go back on that, the ability for people to vote and black people and all that good stuff. But yeah, so you want it to be enshrined into law. You want it to be ratified. So if the tribe can get that ratified into law, it will no longer be an act. It will be a part of the amendments. It will be a part of the Constitution.
In which at this point, if you really think about it, that the Civil Rights Act is null and voided at this point, correct?
It should be.
Because
Yeah.
that was the
Pretty
one
much.
thing
It
that a
seemed
lot
like to
of
me he done turned this into a dictatorship without permission.
Without permission. That's crazy. I don't think he need permission after he got the vote of the people.
Mm.
I don't think he need permission. You already got the House who's going to back him. You got the majority of the Senate. You don't need permission at that point. You just
So you
swipe the
mean to
pen.
tell me, out of all the people in the Republican Party, don't none of them have no compassion for people? Ain't nobody gonna stand up to them.
Loyalty over your feelings when it comes to political
Oh,
dirty work. You
I
want to
got
try
you.
to enshrine your career as a staunch Republican who always vote the right way, and your legacy and anybody you vouch for thereafter, it will reflect on that. So the better and the smoother you vote yes with the party line, then the less it has to. You won't become the whistleblower. You won't be that person who don't get invited to all the galas.
Oh,
It
so
gotta
they
make
ain't standing.
sense.
They ain't standing for nothing. So they falling for everything.
Remember,
Pretty
when you
much.
work for the government, you're feeding off the teats of the people. It's easy money. You got to be one crazy mf'er to go say I'm going to work for the government, because in any capacity you can't get fired very easily, right? Unless you're impeached, and then all of that is a process. it's so it's so easy. You see Trump trying to get them to work from home. I mean, the people from home to work in the office, because essentially they're just getting paid free money to do little work. You punch in the clock once a week. You still getting paid. You're on a salary. It's hard to get fired. Like, how are you feeling the economy when you're above that threshold working for the government? You think the government got poor people working for them, right? So they have to tote the party line. If you think about it, it's not
It
fair.
makes sense. Make a lot of sense, Doc.
Yeah, it's not fair, but they have to tote the party line.
but it takes me to Elks v. Wilkins, which gave indigenous peoples the right to citizenship.
Hmm.
That was in 18 after 18 no before 1866 that gave Native Americans the right to become citizens. But it's sad that they only got the right to become citizens in 1924. Almost been 100 years. Like that's like the number one issue that you have to start right there. Like, how are you gonna come and you gonna just say that natives ain't citizens? That's the sad
Mm-hmm.
part about it.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah. You
Now,
got it.
while we're talking about that, let's see when they become voter. Let's see when they got the right to vote. Hold on.
Well, I mean, the women's suffrage, the right to vote, civil rights, they probably fell in between, somewhere in between that time, between 30s and the 40s, I want to say, right? They probably fell somewhere in between then, because black people is what, 1/5, right? So,
1962. No,
oh,
1962. They got the right to vote.
oh, never mind. Everything happened in the 60s. Civil rights, Malcolm X died.
During the Civil Rights Act. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Martin
that's
Luther
where we're
King.
at. So when you think about it, that's exactly where we're at as a country. Now the question is, where do we go from this point? How do we become stewards of this great nation? What do we do? The job is up to us to be able to change the dynamics of how people look at us and how they think of us, because they always thought about us that way. They always looked down on us. They always looked down on people that they felt that were low class and weren't in class. They never thought about classing people with individuals. They didn't even know what type of race they wanted to give us during those times. So that tells you it's sad. This country, the way that this country was built, it was built on the backs of slaves. The greatest, two of the greatest American genocides that have ever happened to this country was the slave trade, and then the genocide of the American Indian. Now think about that, and that's like, come on, America, ain't we better than this? It's almost like, you know how Ronald Reagan always said that he had to look at his better angels? Well, when is Trump gonna have that better angels moment? Since he constantly always compares himself to Ronald Reagan, right?
I don't know why.
You said so do you?
I said I don't know why.
All right, so we're gonna move on. That's a good topic. We'll probably come back to that later on throughout the at the end of the show, but we gotta move on to our next topic. Let's see here. Our next topic, Jan 6 rioters.
Yeah, we got a few things to disclose about the ramifications of the pardon of the people that rioted on January 6th. Now, it's one thing that everybody who got arrested is not, a bad person, but amongst those people, there were bad people, and some of them very bad people, right? Already that on BuzzFeed, about 8 hours ago was reported, and they already gave you a caution: discussion of child abuse, right? So what are we talking about? Discussion of child abuse. Of course, they're gonna be talking about people with charges related or pertaining to child abuse, right? In some form or fashion. These are the rioters, some of the people. This is trying to paint you the picture of some of the people that was arrested and now freed, and after their pardon they have caught these charges. Now some of these charges are ongoing, and most of these charges are caught after the pardon. So here are some of the names, and notice that they're going to give you names with no photos. I would suggest, if you would like to see the people Times out of 10, they're all white, but they're all white people. If it was black people, of course, there would have been a nice photo, just like Donald Trump, of that person, right, in their name. So in many cases, we're going to go ahead and scroll down because they're talking about the decision that Donald Trump made to pardon the people who stormed the Capitol on the 6th of 2021, right? So days following that, you had news of Matthew Huddle shot and killed by an Indiana police during an altercation days after the pardon. We're talking about days after the pardon. This person, Matthew Huddle, was shot and killed doing God knows what, God knows where. But after this pardon, he was, according to NPR, Huddle was previously sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for hitting a 3-year-old son. They named the son here Brenton Stern. Oh no, they don't name the son, but it's credit to Brenton Stern, the images. But yeah, so that's pertaining to Matthew Huddle, who was shot and killed after being pardoned. Uh, then you have Theodore Middendorf, right? I'm not going to act like I know how to say his name, but he's still in prison for what? Sexually assaulting a 7-year-old after pleading guilty in 2024. What year did this crime happen? This happened in 2021. He's getting pardoned in 2025, and he was supposed to get pardoned, but this is what's holding him back, right? A sexual assault charge. Then we scroll down a little bit more, right? These are some of the pictures of the breaking and entering of the Capitol, captured by Getty Images again. But this is some of the pictures. You have the flags, don't threat on me flags. You have the American flag, which is a crime to even deface the American flag by any means, right? That's defacing the American flag. And on it, you have all of this graffiti. So let's just be sensible about our flag. Our flag does not have any writing or letters on it. It has stars and stripes, right? Stars and stripes. So Andrew Tate being sought on pre-existing charges for soliciting a minor online. They're using their tech skills to go after children online, right? Whoever printed this, I'm not going to say that, but the fact of the matter is they're attacking children, minors online. There's no room for that. Not in the United States. Again, David Daniel, facing charges of what? Production of child
Don't say that. PDF.
Oh,
You
well,
know YouTube, they'll strike us.
you get the idea. You guys can read. Um, the fact still stands. This person is facing these charges for the production of that, and again, in front of the Capitol, they stormed the Capitol. It's a nice photo, but the Trump flag, America, America, keep America great again. All right, and and we're not even done. There's a few more names, but oh
I
no.
got one question for you.
Mhm.
Why hasn't why hasn't Fox News rolled this stuff out and started discussing and talking about this stuff on their network?
You can imagine that it won't go idealistically good with the base. It just won't go with the base. The base won't eat this up. They'll see it like revenge porn of some sort, and it won't go good for them. The ratings will drop, and you know how people feel about. Look at this. They're in there.
So
The
how do you feel about him pardoning those 1,500 people?
I feel like a pardon is deserved for people who are unjustly incarcerated, and for whatever the crime is. I'm not gonna sit here and carry the horse's water for the crime. I'm just gonna say, for whatever the reason is, if you get a pardon, it better have been for a good reason, right? So regardless of this, we all know what happened. Multiple people stormed the Capitol, but look at these people where my mouse is hovering. This guy here is having fun. This guy's on the phone, eh, mask on. I mean, what more could they have committed? They did the same thing. If you can think about it, the crime they committed by storming the Capitol is just as the to me. I
It's
guess
addiction, right?
it's just as equal as to immigrants crossing the border. You know not to do it, but you do it. You did it anyway. right? So that I'm just gonna say that's it's the same difference. So if you give these people a pardon, you got to give the people that cross the border a pardon, because these people knew not to do this and they did it anyway, and then they received a pardon for doing something that they knew that they wasn't supposed to do. So I'm just gonna go out on a whim and say I said it.
You said you just want to go out on the whim and just say you said it.
Yep.
But just thinking about that, it's just like it's flooring. And then you see how they raised the rope and the I don't know what you call that. I don't know what you call it, but where they
Just
got the
gun this
noose and
crap.
everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just like that was intended to hang Mike Pence
Mm-hmm. Hang Mike Pence. Hang Mike Pence.
because they felt that he was a traitor to Trump.
Right.
Let me see. I think Reynolds, do you got anything you want to say about these Jan Sixers? Let me see. I'm waiting on him to come up. I think he's up, but I think he's having some issues. Yeah. What do you? How do you feel about the Jan 6? About what Zoe just was just to reiterate what he just said. He was just talking about that there are several members of the Jan Sixers that have one has been shot and killed, and then you had another one that was arrested, rearrested, and then you have someone that's awaiting to be transferred to whatever state that's within the union. But we already know once they get to that state, Donald Trump is going to pretty much, he's probably going to end up saying, hey, I need you to give this guy a full pardon. He's one of my guys. It's like, you pat my back, I pat your back. Everything is all good and all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, I thought that we were a nation that was governed by laws, right? So hey, who am I to say what I think? Because at this point, it's almost like that the only person's
Go ahead.
thoughts on anything that really matters right now is yours truly.
You're right. Oh, I can't see myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear
I
you.
can hear you, but
Okay.
you may have to turn your camera on. You may have to turn your camera on,
No,
or
you in
still,
the dark. That's why you can't see yourself.
yeah,
No,
that's why we can't see
no.
you. Yeah,
I
you're in the
ain't,
dark.
I ain't in the dark.
Oh, I see
All
a
right,
movement
so we're gonna
happening.
move on to our next topic. So we're
Oh,
gonna spend a few more seconds on this. I guess are we done with that, Zoe?
Yeah, we're done with this topic right here. I got more, of course, but unrelated to January 6th. But just I wanted people to let this soak in. The sheer fact that there's more to come. This just came a few hours ago, 8 hours ago. So this is a few names of the 1500, right? So not all 1500 are straight, bad people. There was just a bunch of people who knew that what they did was wrong and they did it anyways. But within that group, there are some very dark and twisted people. And some of these names, Matthew Huddle, Theodore Middledorf, whatever, Middledendorf, Daniel Ball, some of these names, Andrew Tate, they're they're bad people. David Daniel, they're bad people. You have to look out for these people, right? Again, majority white, no photos. Have they have if
No
it was
photos, and
a
that's
BLM
something that we
riot?
were talking about earlier. Remember,
Oh,
we said
for
all this week, all we've been seeing is black and brown faces
yeah.
that's been plastered across the evening news every night,
Mm-hmm.
making black and brown faces the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, why do we keep going down this path? Why is
Just look at this. Look at this photo.
it's
Look at these
disheartening?
photos. You don't see no black person sharing this weight, but none of these names have a face. But we see the photos though. Like we got a clear idea that
We know what happened.
we know what
We know
happened.
what happened.
They
All
got it
right, so we're gonna
recorded
move
on
on to our next
GoPros,
topic.
cell phones. We know what happened.
And so, if you can get your next screen queued.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, I got another topic of what we're going to be discussing. It is Trump signed an executive order today, just discussing. Uh, he signed another executive order today discussing what is taking place. What's taking place from the? I know everybody knows the news that has came out about the military aircraft that collided with the American Airlines aircraft just yesterday evening around 7 p.m. 67 lives was lost, 2 service members as well as 4 staff that was on that flight. So that's 67 souls gone. Uh, what I want to do is I want to turn it to, before we even go to the video, let me take that video down real quick. Before we even go to that, I got something that I want to share, and it pretty much highlights what's actually going on at this moment. So if you want to turn your attention to the screen real quick, guys. All right, we currently don't have an FAA administrator because the previous one was forced out by the billionaires who got Trump elected and was given an unchecked authority, in return. He was forced out because he tried to find the billionaire space. End quote. Now, when you think about that, end quote, and then it says billionaire space company for operating unsafely. Okay, now that we know about that, so if we think about it, didn't Trump literally lay off just over the past few days? He had an executive order where he pushed out and said that all federal employees that are DEI, what else did he say? DEI, that were a part of DEI programs by 5 p.m. today, do not return back to work. And now he's talking about doing a $2 million buyout to September in order for them to quit, for him to remake the American what did it say? To remake America into a merit-based country. So we just looked at that. Okay, so then it took me out. I thought about it for a little bit. So I got a couple of clips that we're gonna be playing over these next few minutes. We're gonna look at these clips, and it's gonna paint a picture of what we need to pay attention to. It's always, we always sit back and we listen to all the coded words and the words that they may use at times about when you say DEI, the number one face they try to make it seem like it's about black and brown people. No, they're Asian people, African American people, indigenous people, people that have disabilities, veterans, injured veterans. It was for them not to be denied the right to be able to go and work inside of the workforce, irregardless of whatever disability or race, creed, sex, whatever. But I know that the military was the first branch of government that was desegregated. Desegregated during those times where we had soldiers that fought side by side with their white counterparts. But when we think about this, it was almost like I said, okay, so if he passes executive order and all of this stuff has been taking place over the past couple of days, whose fault is it? So then he brought it up. He said, okay, Pete Buttigieg He said, oh, it's Pete Buttigieg's fault while we dealing with all these issues of what's taking place. I said, come on now. This is from the Trump administration. So when we think about it, it's almost like, okay, so if this is coming from the Trump administration, then why are we constantly still discussing what's going on? So what I do is I read this real quick from Pete Buttigieg, former transportation director.
No,
He
not
said,
former.
despicable as families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first, drove down closed calls, grew air traffic control, and had zero commercial airline crashes, fatalities out of millions of flights on our watch. Trump now oversees the military and the FAA. One of his first acts was to fire and suspend some of the key personnel who help keep skies safe. Time for the president to show actual leadership and explain what he will do to prevent this from happening again. End quote. I ain't a big fan of Pete Buttigieg. I ain't a big fan of his, but he does make sense when it comes to that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn everybody's attention to this video that we're gonna be getting ready to play. And Trump signed an executive order inside of the White House today in regards to the FAA. And I want you guys to listen to this. Let me see how long this video is, because I don't want to spend that much time on this, and I don't like talking about the orange guy that resides at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So I'm gonna play this, and just at the beginning, I want you to listen to the words.
Thank you very much for seeing me twice today. It's going to be quite an important signing, so we thought we'd let you watch. If we could, I'd ask Will to explain the first, but really more importantly, explain the second, and we'll start signing. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Just 2 items for your signature today. The first is the formal commission appointing Chris Rochelot to be the Deputy Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration.
Right.
And since the commissioner position since the administrator position is currently vacant, he will act as the administrator since he's now been appointed deputy.
And he's a very capable guy.
Extremely experienced in aviation and highly regarded in the industry and in government.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Second, for your signature, we have a presidential memorandum titled Immediate Assessment of Aviation Safety. In light of the damage done to aviation safety by the Biden administration's DEI and woke policies, what this presidential memorandum orders is for your Secretary of Transportation and FAA Administrator, in this case acting FAA Administrator, to basically ensure that we are actively undoing all of that damage, that we are assessing how much damage was done, and that we're ensuring that people hired within the FAA, in keeping with your memorandum of January 21st, are only the most outstanding, capable people for the jobs that they are being hired into.
In other words, competence.
Yes, sir. Elevating competence over everything else instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
I think everyone understands that.
Okay, who's everyone he's talking about?
Everyone who got common sense. You don't want nobody who don't know how to fly a plane navigating behind aircraft, right?
All right, let's go back. Let's finish listening.
And Obama.
Yes.
Both of them.
Let's see what he said again.
I think everyone understands that. And Obama.
Yes.
Both of them.
Why you said
Biden
Obama
much
like
worse.
that?
Not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways.
What's crazy about diversity, equity, and
To
inclusion?
be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence.
Nothing is crazy at all about it.
We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And
I thought we were supposed to be
you're
the
talking about
president for
extremely
all
complex
people.
things. And if
All.
they don't have
That's
a
what he
great
said
brain, a
inside of
great
his
power
inauguration
of the
speech, correct?
brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Mr. President, there's no, he just said he don't care what race they are.
Out of DCA airport. Do you think that
Just
there's
want
too
company.
many flights coming out of that airport?
No, I think we need very smart people running the
Smart
flights
people.
and doing it. You know, the ones that aren't good, when they'll either do one of two things: they'll have too many coming in and they can't handle it, or they'll have the people waiting up in the air, which everyone's been caught in that situation, and circling the airports for an hour, and that's no good either.
Mr. President, are you aware?
Military helicopter training flights that are flying around National Airport all the time. What's your view? Should they be rolled
Well, my
back?
view is fine if they're in the right locations and if they're not at the same levels. I mean, if a plane coming in is at 300 feet or 400 feet and a helicopter's training at 300 or 400 feet, why wouldn't they be up 500 feet higher? So I certainly want, and that to a certain extent is the air traffic controller.
Okay, in the reporting that I seen earlier, they're understaffed at the FAA, actually at the Sky Tower in DC. They only had one controller and they had one other person that was working that was in charge of the traffic that was in the air at the time.
Wasn't that due to Pete Buttigieg?
That was due to the people that were told not to report back to work because of their DEI hiring.
No, I'm talking about the understaffed in the FAA.
So
They've been
so if
understaffed.
if the people of the that represent the DEI, who he put in the category of the DEI, was laid off prior to the incident, if I'm not mistaken, what I'm hearing is those are his people that were at work, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, we're going to stop that there. And we're going to go to another clip. I'm just waiting on this to get queued. Man, we on the road tonight, huh?
But he did say he don't care what race they are, as long as they're competent.
Right.
Okay.
In which, which that's
Hold on.
agreeable, but to
Hold,
what
hold on.
extent? To what
You
extent?
mean
Go
to
ahead.
tell me all those people he laid off is incompetent?
We don't know who got laid off. We just know they may have been a part of the DEI hire, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And
Okay, but
people who
you
are in
said
that
that he
group,
said it doesn't matter the race, long as
the,
they
that
competent.
the
So you mean to tell me all of those people that were hired through or had some kind of affiliation with the DEI are incompetent?
no, that process when those people got hired, that was through like an initiative to get them into being able to get the job easier because they was being excluded for so long. So when Biden administration included the DEI hire as a part of what companies should do, right? You should have a certain percentage of minorities. Then it made it easier for more minorities to get in, right? The percentage of white people has always been at like 80 or 90% white who are flying vehicles. I mean, not vehicles, but aircrafts. That's always been that. But by letting in a few more minorities, you didn't water the pool any less because the clip was already so high. So if there
Right,
was 80 or 90% white, and then you let 10, maybe 20%, let's say 30% minorities, now it went from 80 to 90 to 70, 60% white. So 6 out of 10 white people are going to get the job. You still got to go against 4 minorities. Now, within those 4 minorities, they're women, they're men, and then they're transgenders, and then anything in between. So now you got 4 minority groups, different factions, because you don't know who's applying.
correct,
It's just a theory of those four, and 6 out of 10 is going to be white. So the other four got to be something different. So that's
right,
in theory what it is. So he don't care what your race is as long as you're competent. So the people who were hired through the DEI, it's not saying they're any less dumb because they still got the job. The clip of white people applying has always been that's just their thing, but then they're always getting fired too. They're always drunk. You know what I mean? They're always getting fired too. There's more of them doing that. But it doesn't change the fact that the diversity, they're mad because it's a easier path for you to just get the job as opposed to merit base. You get
Right.
it? So that's
I got
all
you.
it is. It's just an easier path, which they
Well,
don't
well,
want it to be easy.
well it's not easy. It's just, I mean, if you don't have, if you don't include the DEI, you mean most African American people or people of another ethnicity won't even have an opportunity to get those jobs that they already have.
Right.
So I mean, it's almost a catch-22, correct?
It's
That's
one of
crazy.
those jobs where it's like this is my job situation because the clip member for a very very long time most aircraftmen were just white people because you don't
Yeah.
have little black boys saying I want to fly a helicopter or airplane, mom. You have more little white boys gravitating to that with the toy figure, all of that stuff. That's
Well,
just their thing.
right. Let's take it even further to the quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. That's just their thing.
Yeah. Hmm. I guess they say, well, they taking over everything. We got to regain control. You know.
Yeah, because you got to understand too. They feel like a lot of the benefits are being sucked away because the loophole got bigger, so it's not as easy for them to retire in 20 years with full benefits. You got to go a little longer maybe. It just it throws off the for them, right? It throws off their little thing. That's all it is.
I
It
mean, if you
throws it.
eliminate all the competition and you the only people in the world that can benefit from what you're implementing, I guess that means that y'all the only ones win, correct?
That's how you get ahead.
That's true.
That's how you get
All
ahead.
right, so we're gonna bring it back to this next clip. I want you guys to listen in to this.
Moment because the U.S. Ice Skating Committee was affected. But first, if I can, the cited FAA text that you read is real, but the implication that this policy is new or that it stems from efforts that began under President Biden or the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is demonstrably false. It's been on the FAA's
Who said
website.
that, you?
No, it's on the website, the FAA's website. It was there in 2013. It was there for the
Take a look
entirety.
at what I read.
It was there for the entirety of your administration
Nice and
too.
easy.
So my question is, why didn't you change the policy during your first
I
administration?
did change it. I changed the Obama policy, and we had a very good policy. And then Biden came in, and he changed it. And then when I came in 3 days ago, I signed a new order, bringing it to the highest level of intelligence.
It
Okay,
was on the website.
please.
Respectfully, it was on the website.
Quiet.
Welcome back to the.
Boss. Shit, I don't want to talk. I already took your question. What's next?
Yeah, because you see how he quickly silenced them because Trump hates to be fact checked in real time. He likes what Fox News calls alternative facts, right?
Wait, so am I under the impression that okay, Obama had something in place for the airlines, and then
How
when
many
Trump
years ago has Obama been in office?
no, I'm just recapping history. So that's what the reporters did or are doing. So after Obama came Trump, so it's only right that Trump will change whatever he had and put in place what he wants. Right? Again, when Biden came, he did change the Trump's administration on transportation. So I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's out of the ordinary. And of course, Trump's going to recount what he knows to be true, but everybody else is just going to recount their view of whatever they're reporting.
He gonna make sure he try to discredit the only black president of the nation. FYI, Obama name gonna live on forever. Ain't
Hmm.
nothing you can do to slander that name, my boy.
Hmm.
You feel me? Ain't nothing you can do. He carry that name well. So ain't nothing you can do to slander that. I know you hate the fact that it was a black man in power 4 consecutive years, 2 times, 2 terms. I know you hate it, but they just doing what they normally do to prominent black men. Try to destroy their legacy. I guess everything Obama y'all allow him to implement, which you fought everything, but what you allow him to implement, I guess it wasn't good enough, so you're gonna reverse it anyway.
So he reversed it. Biden
Not
reversed
because it ain't
his.
right. Not because it ain't right. You're reversing it not because it ain't right, because it came from a black man. A black man established it. Somebody other than MLK, who you already done attacked. So you're gonna attack MLK and you're gonna attack Obama, two of the most prominent
Hey, that's
black.
in our next segment. That's in our next segment about MLK and about what the Defense Department is doing.
God, I
So
mean,
we're gonna wait to get to that point. So you moving a little too quick.
I'm sorry, my God, you
All
know,
right.
we,
All
we,
right,
we
here's the
don't
next
have much.
video.
Doc. We don't have much on. Let us
Right.
have.
NTSB officials asked about Trump blaming DEI after deadly collision. Let's listen in.
President Trump today talking about DEI hiring policies within the FAA and associating that with the cause of this accident. What do you say to that?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't hear the remarks. I was briefing House and Senate members, but I believe, Chair, would you like to take them?
As part of any investigation, we look at the human, the machine, and the environment. So we will look at all
They're
the humans
independent.
that were involved in this accident. Again, we will look at the
Is
aircraft,
she
we
a
will look at the
DEI hire?
helicopter, we will look at the environment in which they were operating in. That is standard in any part of our investigation.
Does it hurt your investigative process to have the president already suggesting possible causes here as you try to keep an open mind and begin this investigation?
That man breathing heavy in that mic.
Tom, with all due respect, I think the press also likes to state what probable cause is before we get to the probable cause. So what I'm going to say is you need to give us time. You need to give NTS, it's not that we don't have information. We do have information. We have data. We have substantial amounts of information. We need to verify information. We need to take our time to make sure it is accurate. That's best for you. That's important for the families. It's important for legislators who are seeking answers to try to figure out what they're going to do about this. And so it will take time. We do have a lot of information, but we need some time to verify that.
Heard from President Trump today.
Bunch of white men that was drunk in that helicopter. They know what that was. They was on a military excursion, got drunk and forgot the altitude. Everybody know about altitude when you flying aircrafts. I'm not a pilot. I know I'm supposed to be a certain jet. I don't know. I ain't blaming nobody.
All right. So I want to play. I got one more clip, and then we're gonna move on to the next segment. Just waiting on it to come up. All right, there it is.
A big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website.
Hold on, wait a minute. Did he just say? Is he mentioning that they don't have the capacity to do these jobs? What you say? I can't hear you.
Only his people have the ability to do the job. People that look like him.
We don't even know who's behind the aircraft yet.
We don't even exactly.
He heard that from me. I pray to God that it be his cousin.
All right, let's finish it. Let's finish the clip.
Can you imagine? These are people.
You know,
that are.
I wonder what he gonna say
Actually,
Listen to what he
oh
say.
Lord.
Listen to this next part.
their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress, where you have many, many planes coming into one target. Their office, they put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I...
All right.
I
All right,
wanted to
enough of
see.
all that.
Did you see the video that when JD Vance came right behind them to reiterate
Oh yeah,
right
I'm getting
behind
ready to
them?
go to that one next.
Yeah, because he knew Trump dropped the ball. He knew Unc dropped the ball. He knew that was a little too hard. See, Unc was a little too hard with the diversity part. You know, that was kind of
That's what the
heartless.
country
You know,
needs. The country need crazy Country need to come through the party and keep it real with the little dumb nephews. Like, y'all won't get your ass locked up, toting them files and switch. Like, you need come through. Be drunk, but on
hey,
point.
Unc doing his big one right now, dog.
Yeah, he on point. And then you
Unc
had
gotta be stopped, man.
we don't do that no more. We can't talk like that no more. Trump just old Uncle Trump. Uncle Trump, wow. Uncle Trump gonna say what's on his mind. Oh yeah,
Unc doing his big one, dog.
there's only two genders. Yeah, keeping it real.
Somebody told JD Vance, man, go up there and reiterate what Trump said. That was a little too straightforward. That was a little too real.
It was a little too harsh, right?
There you go.
Aunt standing on business, man. That one thing I can say about him, boy. He real, but he gonna stand on business now.
But guess
All
what?
right,
Bitch,
so
you
let's
don't
look at
understand
this
him,
clip.
right?
Let's see what JD Vance say once he takes the podium after Trump's fiasco.
Trump was drunk.
Trump, he says he doesn't drink. Let's play.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership. I just want to reemphasize something the President said, and you've heard from the Secretary of Transportation and of Defense. There really was a whole of government response. We were all on the phone. We were all communicating yesterday, trying to get to the bottom of this immediately, but also try to communicate with the American people about what happened. Something the President said that I think bears reemphasizing, which is that when you don't have the best standards in who you're hiring, it means on the one hand, you're not getting the best people in government, but on the other hand, it puts stresses on the people who are already there. And I think that is a core part of what President Trump is going to bring and has already brought to Washington, D.C. is we want to hire the best people because we want the best people at air traffic control, and we want to make sure we have enough people at air traffic control who are actually competent to do the job. If you go back to just some of the headlines over the past 10 years, you have many hundreds of people suing the government because they would like to be air traffic controllers, but they were turned away because of the color of their skin. That policy ends under Donald Trump's leadership because
That's false.
safety is the first priority of our aviation industry. Thank you, Mr. President.
So basically, what that tells you, right? The airline company lobby behind getting something pushed through government, where, and this is not just the airline lobby. So all the big companies, and there's not many of owners because a lot of them are sister shell companies and all of that. But it seemed like a bunch of billionaires got together and
But
put it.
American Airlines is one of his main donors, and also American Airlines changed their policies to reflect the DEI, to eliminate DEI from their workforce as well. So the minute that once Trump's White House made the change, this is what took place. So when we sit here and we discuss these topics, but like you said last year, remember you were like, okay, so what we're gonna do about these grocery prices? But who's the president right now? Trump ain't the president. So who's the president now?
Trump.
Remember they kept on saying that Joe Biden was back there hiding inside of the basement?
That man was always in the basement. We know that.
Well, Elon Musk is our president, and on Twitter, I heard he said that the American people are dumb.
Yeah, he did say that. Said it.
I heard he twittered that,
He
and
said
he
it.
doubled down on that. I'm not.
Well, yeah, he doubled down on it.
That's allegedly.
I mean,
He said they so dumb they can't be trained to be smart.
It's not far from the truth. So what he
Yeah,
said is
I'm
not.
just saying. So if we making America great again, and the only people that's American is his people, your president said it.
That's true.
Make it make sense.
All
He
right.
doubled down on it now. He doubled down. Elon Musk did not bite his tongue.
I like that.
He doubled down.
He doubled down big time. You right. He doubled down on that. He doubled down and he tripled down on it.
He did not bite his tongue. He did not throw a rock and hide his hand. He stood on business. When he said what he said and they confronted him, he reiterated it for them.
Bingo. All right, so we moving on to our next topic. Go ahead, Zoe.
All right, keeping on with our next topic, right? We have JFK who had his confirmation hearing just the other day, and this is
Today.
from. Oh, it was today. I'm sorry, but this right here is from a post from 2 weeks ago, but it's relevant till today because this is the same person who is planning to get rid of some of these fan favorite foods, right? And on the top of this list, for some odd reason, but for a very good reason, you got French fries. French fries is one of the very first thing is on the list of him getting off. He's going to get regulated because, again, popular fries are known to their consistent flavors of golden appearances achieved in the frying, boil, and blend that includes
We know what the fry is. We know what the fry is.
Okay, that was just one of the foods. Again, you got chicken sandwiches.
Zuvi, so you hold on. I want some clarity.
Uh-huh.
You're saying JFK is taking fries off the market?
Not necessarily taking it off. He's trying to make it healthier. If you're going to serve fries, it's going to be served healthier. But these are
So
mostly
he gonna try to make potatoes healthier.
yeah, because the way potatoes are made. Do you know how French fries are made? French fries are like one of the most
Oh my god,
toxic.
I wonder what's the plan to make potatoes healthier.
Bro, that shit is crazy. Here we go. Chicken sandwiches. Chicken sandwiches is on the menu.
Oh my god.
Burger
I can't
buns.
make this up, y'all.
Look, burger buns. The buns for your burger. He's also trying to get that off the menu. We also got sugary coffee drinks. Bye bye Starbucks. See you later, Dunkin' Donuts. All them sugary coffee drinks.
I don't shop at Starbucks. I'm boycotting Starbucks.
Well, yeah, see you later to the mashed potatoes and gravies. Mashed potatoes and gravies.
Hold on. Didn't Starbucks stand with them?
Yep.
And
They
eliminated
DEI as well.
Lord have mercy. What a shot in the back.
We got milkshake. No more milkshakes because it's too creamy.
Well, McDonald's milkshake machine always broke into it.
Well, see you later, milkshake. That's one reason why it's gone.
You can't get a milkshake anyway, so I don't think plenty of people go miss that.
Yeah, you can't.
You know?
Oh, well, you think when you go to the restaurant, you want an appetizer? See you later, cheese bread. We ain't doing no more. We ain't doing no more cheese bread. Cheese bread is off the menu. Roast beef sandwiches. You thought chicken sandwiches are gone? Well, I'm taking roast beef. No, roast beef sandwiches. This is all across all the board. Like Arby's.
So what are the suggested foods that he's suggesting?
Well, we haven't gotten to that part yet.
Well, let's get to it.
blended frozen desserts. Essentially, you see all of these chicken burgers, tacos. I mean, bacon
Look
and
like
cheeseburger
macaroni right
taco.
there.
Yeah, macaroni and cheese. Of course, it's because it contains the sodium phosphate.
Yep.
Reason why there's things that's inside.
It's reason why it's sodium phosphate because of the way that they make cheese. That's why when you go to the supermarket, you always shop and you buy cheese. Look for something that's 100% real cheese, not that fake stuff, that processed stuff. And then also you got, because like me, I do a lot of shopping for like a lot of organic foods and stuff. So I'm not like, I'm really big about what I put inside this big 600-pound body, but I do what I do. I'll be on 600-pound life after a while, but
So shallow.
Yo.
You agree? You agree with some most of these?
Oh wow, oh definitely, because you got to remember what these things contain, like yellow
they
5
contain cancer.
coloring. Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
no, that's what I'm saying. I just want him to, break it down for the people that don't understand, what you're saying. Try to break it down,
yeah,
to 'em.
so within the text, there's reason why they're going after these foods because of the chemicals that's harmful to your body. Harmful, very, very toxic chemicals that's created to make some of these food. All of these foods are processed foods again, right? Made in factories with plastics and wrapped up with plastics and wrapped up with artificially made sugars and salts and all of this stuff that just kills the human digestive system when you consume it. So there's a good reason behind getting rid of all of this stuff for the reasons behind. Now remember, the people who created foods are the same people who made cigarettes. The same scientists who learned how to make cigarettes addictive went from one field to the food industry. They didn't never
Oh Lord.
leave. So
Oh
how they
my
made
God.
you get addicted to tobacco cigarettes back in the late day before they made the big transition to big food and the pharmacy, they left tobacco because of the fight against tobacco and went on to foods and maximized the additives of what makes this addictive, and people just keep coming back, and it's all genetically modified, not real. Your body can't digest it, and it creates cancer. So your body will have parts where that food reaches its potential to just reach a part of your body where it shuts it down, like your kidney, maybe your stomach, or you get prostate cancer, or you get brain cancer, tumor, because you're consuming so much of this, and your body can't break it down, and then the chemicals from that, your body build a calcium over it, and then it just attacks. Game over, right? So you got to be cautious of what you put in your body. You have to know that all of the processed food is bad, right?
Yes.
You have to know that.
That spam, lunch meat,
Yes. Everything.
corned beef hash in the can.
Everything.
Let me
And
see.
you think it's created for a good reason because they mass produce this, but they're not necessarily eliminating hunger because they're still
It's
hungry.
everything. It's just like a hot dog. But you can find organic foods
Of course,
that don't have all that stuff in it.
it's
So
just a bit pricier,
you just got to look for it, and it costs.
right?
And that's the thing. I don't think that our food should be that expensive if we putting something inside of our bodies that's not going to make us sick. You know.
It costs to live. That's what they're telling you. It costs to live. And most people got a cheap mentality. And they know that. And they use the cheap mentality against you.
Right. So think about this chili dog right here, right? It's You're gonna eat this chili dog, but what's put in it is potassium sorbate, and it's to extend shelf life. Now think about that. It's to extend shelf life. It doesn't mean when it goes in your body you're gonna break it down right away. No, it's gonna
That's
be there
just like
for a
cereal.
while.
The same thing with cereal. They put that red dye stuff in there. Like
Yeah,
in Canada,
and
they
they don't
don't
have it
have
in
none of
Canada.
that
They
stuff
don't have it in
in none of
Germany.
their
They don't have it in
foods.
Britain.
America is the only country that
Yes,
allows
the red dye.
for these big time companies like Kellogg's and all these
Mm-hmm.
other companies to
Mm-hmm.
put all this trash inside of the food to make sure that it has a longer shelf life,
Because they get
in
it back by
which
the
we
government.
already know
So
it doesn't benefit us.
so my MLBF brothers, do you think this was the good hire for Trump in this area?
No, because the one thing to me personally, he doesn't believe in vaccines. Measles. We got the largest tuberculosis out case right now. That's in Tennessee right now. I
Yeah.
think it's the
TB.
largest tuberculosis case that we had ever.
So you just want
And it's
somebody
almost like,
to share these qualities and also believe in vaccine, right? Just a chip
yeah,
thought
but he
of
also
the
wrote a book
belief.
about measles. And measles was a part of that as well as chicken pox.
He's also
He
have
felt
40
like,
years experience and a lawyer and should know this stuff.
I understand that he's an attorney, but he's not a doctor.
When you're a journalist, you're not a doctor, you still write books about stuff.
And that's the same way with the secretary, the defense secretary is a TV host.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get the experience to where you can speak about it because you didn't go to school for it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have the credibility, right?
Right,
Having
but he
40 years
also
experience
said that
as
he
an
has a
attorney.
worm inside of his
Yeah, but having 40 years as an attorney, right? He's been
man, you just
on.
cannot make this stuff up.
Yeah, I
At the
get it. I
end of
just
the
say
day,
he's a good person for
I'm
this.
gonna say it like this: you can sign it and call it gold.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving what you
Nah,
got
I'm
right
a hush. I ain't saying nothing else. I'm a hush.
You're giving what you got. The man is for a good cause. I
I'm
don't
a
see
hush.
nothing wrong with RFK, but who we got better than RFK? They put out there.
To me personally, he can find somebody else that can be able to take over HSS. I think out of all of the picks, I think the majority, all three of these picks, probably gonna get a. They
Yes.
may get the axe. That's Chelsea Gabbard, who is a staunch supporter of Moscow. She shared information with these
So
guys.
most of the dangerous stuff that's being put in food is to make it last long on the shelf.
Right.
Maximize profit. You can make
Right.
it for cheap and you can make it last longer. And once it's sold, you just made money. It don't matter what happens to the person on the other end. There's
Correct.
laws. So there's laws against that, just like when they made the vaccine. So you can't attack the company that give you the vaccine. It's all for money.
Mm.
It's called the double dip theory.
Well, it's called in the Bible, for the love of money is the root of all evil.
Exactly. That's
Exactly,
what
man.
is
Trump
evil
love money.
committed, and it's all them having the money to lobby, right, to get people to go in government and corrupt the people that you put in government by the way of your vote to vote for something that's in against your best interest, but against their
Yeah.
best interest, and we just buy into it because we put them there. They get bought, and then they make a law that helps benefit the freaking company that sell you the stuff. You're the consumer. You work hard for the money at another person's job who's your boss, and they just make you eat shit and go to work. Go to work and make money and tax you on the money, and then you go buy the food and they tax you on the food, and then you get the food and the food's not good, and you go to sleep, wake up, got a headache, and you gotta go to work the next day and keep that cycle going until you get cancer. Now you lost your left eye. Now you go to the healthcare system. The healthcare system will help you out because you pay money into it, but they don't do nothing besides take your money. Because when it's time to give you any kind of healthcare, the doctor all you want to do is put you on pills because he's getting money from the big pharma company. It's all ever revolving door around making you sick, don't know what's going, throwing a rock out in the hand. You're gonna grow up,
So
get old fast, and die.
pretty much the art is not to heal you; it's to keep you sick.
Oh, of
Because
course.
if I heal you, I make no money off the product that I put out.
There's no need for the pharmacy then.
All right. So moving on to our next topic.
Mm-hmm.
We just about done. We got three more left. Do you got another one there that you need to share, Zoe, or no?
It's gonna be another topic, but hold on,
All right.
27.
I'm gonna go to this next one that I got. Let's get this up. All right, there's the title. Pentagon. We were just discussing this just a second ago. Pentagon agency paused celebration for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Black History Month, and more. In Washington, the Defense Intelligence Agency has paused the observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Day, Pride Month, Holocaust Day, remembrance of other cultures or historical annual events in response to President Donald Trump's ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal workspace. The instruction was published Tuesday in a Defense Intelligence memo obtained by the Associated Press after a no effect 11 annual events, including Black History Month, which begins on Saturday. The National Hispanic Heritage Month. The memo authenticity was confirmed by the U.S. officials who said the pause was initiated by the DIA and appears not to be policy across the Defense Department. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive matters. We are receiving questions across the workforce on the way forward. The memo said DIA will pause at all activities and events related to the agency's special emphasis programs effective immediately until further notice. It also noted the pause on special observance hosted throughout the year, while Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth were included. The memo said the change would not affect those national holidays. The event discontents of the memo and was the first reported by the intelligence independence journalist Ken. I don't want to butcher his name and posted to X. Federal agencies have struggled to intercept Trump's January 20th executive order ending DEI programs across the government and have taken a broad approach due to the lack of clear guidance from the White House on how to comply. On Wednesday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed the staff to create a DEI task force to ensure DEI programs remain in the program. No, remain in the program. We are not joking around, Hegseth said in an interview on Wednesday on Fox News. There is no changing of names softly manipulating something. DEI is gone. In response to query from the AP about the memo, the DIA said late Wednesday it is at working with the Defense Department fully implement all executive orders and administrative guidance in a timely manner. As we receive additional guidance, we will continue to update internal guidance. So just to jump back on to what you said, we're gonna spend like 2 minutes on, like 5 minutes on this. Like just to piggyback on what you just said earlier, chosen one. We told you so. We told you so.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Did y'all get that stimulus check yet?
No, I'm still waiting on my stimmy.
No. Okay. Ong ain't signed that out, but he's signing all these executive orders. Nigga, send that money
Yeah,
out.
like I told you the other night. I said
That's what
everything
they
comes
voted
back
for
to
you for.
the
They voted for you to send that stimulus money
everything
out.
come
You
back
ain't
to
signed
this
no check
pen.
out, but you signing all these bills.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? It might be an unpopular
Do
opinion.
you agree with the cut of all these national holidays that's centered around diversity,
I feel
inclusion?
like
Because I think that it brings down the military morale because now you got soldiers feeling like, dang, does this country love me or no? Because I love it, I'm fighting for it, but it's almost like it's not loving me back. Go ahead.
country never loved you in the first place, but no, I think if you think about it, right, we're all American. Everybody. Don't matter the color of your skin. If you're born here, you're an American. And our history shouldn't be relegated down to a month or any specific day. Because if you want to be equal, give me White History Month. Give me White History Day. Give me White History Year. Give me White
Ain't
History.
that's every day?
So why can't we just have American history every day and remember the history throughout the year
You
instead?
got President's Day and Columbus Day, right? What about those holidays? Why those holidays weren't included?
Because in a sense of presidential ideologies, symbols that stand for America and a different power stature, that's different. But we're talking about national days of prominent black people, right? Where it should merge with the country and not be relegated down to 28 days. It should be 365 days throughout the year. You're learning about the history of the country in its full entirety, not relegated down to
But is Black history American history?
correct. So when you're learning
Okay.
history, when you learn
See,
about
see, that's the problem. See, we thinking about all people, but the people in control are thinking about one set of people. See, we got to get out this mindset where we trying to include these people, but these people are not trying to include us, bro. We're really finding out that, which we been knew that. Hey, how many white presidents have we had?
shit
47
How
of
many
them.
white
47,
presidents have we
46.
had?
40,
Well,
How many?
46 of them.
yeah,
46.
And did he
not
run on a
including the
slogan that's
terms,
"Make America Great Again"?
not including the terms. It's been what 39 presidents. So
What I'm saying is, if 39 of the presidents have been white, if the real American people are white,
they need an Indian president. Keep it real with you. It's time.
but what I'm saying is,
Mhm.
we've been led by 39 of you.
David Ramaswamy.
No, not that Indian. I'm talking about native.
Oh,
But no, I'm listening. I'm listening, Rev.
I mean, we've been led by 39 of the great Americans.
Hmm. Throughout the different history, the periods of history of this country. But what's important to understand, right? For me saying, I would rather they get rid of keep Martin Luther King Day for the sentimental purposes, but get rid of Black History Month. Don't relegate it down to a month because
Well, you gotta understand.
there's no Jewish History Month day year. There's no Indian History
you
Month
have
day.
Holocaust Remembrance Month too.
Yes, you
That's
do.
that's
See,
true.
the
It's
For
Martin
the
Luther
sake
Holocaust
King
for the
Remembrance
Day
sake
and the
of
Month as
other
well.
argument.
days are black people plight, of black people saying, "Give us something."
But the Holocaust month is not remotely related to United States. It happened in Germany from German Jews, right? So that don't got nothing to do with United States. So whether they observe or don't observe that, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about
But in
United
World
States of
War II,
America.
we joined the fight. We joined
We
the
joined the
world in the
fight to
World
help
War II,
allies.
and that's what was the ultimate decider of World War II from the United States joining into the battle.
Right. That's a decision made by war. But again, the American people, the understanding of the history of the people is within the land. The slaves happened here, not in Germany, right? They have their own different stuff to worry about. We're talking about our history here in America. I would rather not be relegated to learn about Rosa Parks only in February, to learn about Malcolm X only in February, to learn about the Black Panther only in February. They had movements throughout the year, right?
Yeah, I
So
agree with
that's
you.
what I'm
I agree with
talking about. The same way Christopher Columbus days in September, he didn't
Not
discover
September, it's in November.
November, he didn't discover them in November, right?
But
Or
see,
if he did, but it's like it's celebrated
Zuvi,
throughout
if
the
if
uh-huh.
if they was implemented with the mindset that you're explaining, that would be okay.
The message is not behind it. That's why they're not putting them. It's just a
No,
headline,
no, because that's not their intention. They
right?
got the wrong intention doing it, Zuvi. The intention is not what you're saying. You're
Right. I
saying it
get,
in a way where I understand. I can accept that. The
yeah, I
way
get,
you're saying it, the way you're putting it, it makes sense.
right.
That's not the way they mean it. That's what I'm saying. We're making excuses for them doing undermining stuff. They're not saying it the way you're saying it. You're saying it in a way that all people would accept that.
Yeah, they wrong though.
They dead wrong, bro. You
They
come on,
wrong.
man. We got to call a spade, man. Them people fought hard for this. This is black people don't have nothing in this world. They ain't give us our 40 acres and a mule. So Martin Luther King Day is us saying, give us something. Black
Well,
History
think
Month is
about
us
it.
saying, at least we got something.
Think about it, Rev. This is only pertaining to the federal government in the Pentagon. This is not pertaining to us in celebration as the people on the streets. That's the Pentagon and their staff rule that they got to come to work on every day in February. They got to come to work on the third Monday of January.
So they was missing. So you saying that the people at the White House was missing days in February for Black History Month?
Yeah, because they can claim that they need time off anytime.
Well, I understand that. I
Yeah,
understand.
so the whole purpose is to, if you're a federal employee, you are working every day that's necessary for you to work, observing certain holidays, right? Excluding like President's Day or Labor Day or Christmas. Those are the been days they've been, prior to 2019, they've been taken off.
I get
It's
it.
been a pause since 2019. All right, let's have revisionist history here. People been working from home since COVID, right?
Right.
So life changed since then, and let's just bring it back to how it was and move forward from here. Because that work from home is too sweet. It's too sweet. Money from the government is being leaked in too many different rivers, and people ain't doing much to contribute back in the government.
Right.
A lot
I
of
understand.
paperwork ain't
I got
being pushed, taxes still behind. You know what I mean? So it's like the message is not properly dealt, but it's still dealt. You just got to know what they talking about for real.
Yeah. Correct.
All
Correct.
right, moving on to this next topic. Check this out.
I'm not MAGA, please don't scroll. I have a moral compass and a soul. Americans are being arrested now by ICE. A family of Americans born in a United States territory, Puerto Rico, were arrested and detained and not released until they complied with "show me your papers." This happened in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, all because they were speaking Spanish. And let me remind everyone that we never had ICE prior to 2003. ICE is an agency born solely on racism and bigotry, not national security. If you see ICE agents approaching anyone, get in their face and demand to see a warrant. Be prepared to be arrested yourself. At least when your time on this earth comes, you can go knowing that you did everything you could to be a moral human being. Unlike ICE and Donald Trump's Fourth Reich. I'll remind everyone, as the history of the world records, every mass atrocity since before the Renaissance period carried out against innocent humans was perpetrated by right-wing faith-based ideology. That's a historical fact. From the Crusades, to Adolf, to 9/11 and Al-Qaeda, every single one of them was carried out by right-wing faith-based ideology. And it's a cancer upon humanity. And to the black communities, even though you've perpetually had to live with your heads on a swivel, be extra safe now, as well as our Hispanic and Latin brothers and sisters in humanity. Because it was intentional and purposeful that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump spread that lie about immigrant Haitians. Because they don't want to just lock up the brown people. They want to lock up the black people too. We must all unite against this evil. And I will be the body shield in front of all of you. Stronger together, together stronger. Worldwide.
So he ready to go to jail if he see ICE about to approach somebody. I just want to see the cracker just ride by and
Hey,
record ICE and intervene. Then this video would have been worth it instead of
oh,
a
it would have been
video.
worth every moment,
I don't know. I'm
every
sorry.
moment of it. All right, I got two more videos, and we're gonna wrap it. It's just a quick little close out.
I often ask myself, a lot of these people, are they just making videos for views, or are they real act? Like, I don't think I'll make a video saying anything like that if I'm not for real going to be doing that. In my mind, knowing damn well if I see ICE about to do their job, I'm about to intervene. Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, we're gonna turn it over to this next one. Trying to move quick here. Is it up?
Nah, you got damn messages on here.
I'm trying to see why it ain't pop up yet. All right, here we go. It didn't come up? Oh man, why I keep doing that? All right, let's go back. What I'm doing wrong? All right, there we go. All right, this should be up on screen now. Ronald Reagan.
Ain't nothing going on my screen. Is it frozen?
Oh,
Reset.
said nothing was going on.
Nope, it's frozen. I have to refresh that browser.
All right, here we go.
There we go.
President Ronald Reagan, who was just some glorified celebrity, not a politician, not the traditional person that you would see in DC, right? He decided to fire 11,000 striking air traffic controllers. He had actually been targeting the federal government to reduce the federal workforce as a way to help Americans, but it had a lot of pushback. And it took over 10 years to restore the labor force for these air traffic controllers. And by 1988, he actually had to put together a safety committee among the Federal Aviation Group so that they could figure out how to solve safety issues when it came to aircrafts and flying in airports and such. Today, there was a crash in Washington, D.C. that landed in the Potomac River between a Black Hawk helicopter and a commercial American Airlines flight. They are currently searching for survivors. Prayers to everybody who was involved in this crash. But we also have to look at the fact that on January 21st, that man, 4547, actually went ahead and disbanded that very committee that Ronald Reagan put together in 1988. And I don't think any of this is a coincidence. It needs to be looked into and investigated. And also the way that, like Reagan, he's trying to target the federal workforce to supposedly help the American people, but will very likely end up hurting Americans everywhere, including when it comes to safety regulations, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that this crash happened over Ronald Reagan International Airport, and I don't think that it's a coincidence that it was a Ronald Reagan judicial appointee that actually overturned the birthright citizenship executive order. I find it very interesting that Reagan's ghost is coming back to scream in conservative spaces and say, hey, wait a minute. I think y'all need to take pause and step back because that man is ruining the country. He has no concern for anybody's well-being or safety. And we now have an actual plane crash to show that. In 1981, President...
All right. So we're going to go to this next one and we're going to get ready to wrap it and then we'll recap at the end. You can see that?
Yep.
What was the year that you just said? So the zero wealth.
2053. By the year
by
2053. It's called the Road to Zero Wealth Report.
Okay.
And you can look that up, and it's predicting that by the year 2053, in just 30 years, that Black people will have a median net worth of $0. Our wealth since 2000.
That was dumb.
The government trying to shut us down, y'all.
Our net worth fell below that of Hispanic families, and it has been on a decline ever since. There's a direct parallel to how we're showing up in STEM fields. We are choosing majors that when we do, what's happening is we're running away from math, because when you get to college, you can say, this is what I want to major in. You don't have to follow a set curriculum, right? So they're choosing majors where they don't have to take a lot of math. And in running away from the math, they're running towards poverty. Because you can choose engineering or you can choose psychology.
You say to me, what was the year that you just said? So the zero wealth.
2053. By the year
by
2053, it's called the road.
All right. So we got road to wealth. I pulled that up.
Road to zero wealth.
Road to zero wealth. African American wealth may fall to zero wealth by 2053. You can have a glamorous six-figure salary, advanced degrees, and executive title at a large corporation and still be impacted by the negative net worth virus that is preventable in Black communities according to the Road to Zero Wealth. Report published by the Prosperity Now and the Institute for the Policy Studies of the median wealth of Black Americans will face to zero by 2053 if this current trend continues. I will put this description in the description afterwards, but that was something that I wanted to see, and I just wanted everybody just to look exactly what the breakdown is. It says the NCES noted that the estimated 77.7% of Black students borrow federal student loans to pay back for higher education as opposed to 57.5% white students. Studies continuously show that the Black students are more likely to go in debt in order to live out the dream of walking across the stage and getting a college degree. Going to college is the first business decision many people will make, says Jeff Wilson II, author of The Lies of Our Parents Were Sold and Told to Us, and the principal at the W2 Group accounting firm. You do not go to college to build wealth. You go to college for a network, so you can generate a higher income and producing opportunities. There's no doubt about it. Education has helped many African Americans improve their socioeconomic status and gain access to many of the luxuries of life. Students show that the education proved and increased earnings of potential, but income and gain for pursuing the higher education. If 3%, no, if the economy is growing at 3%, you have to earn 6% to build wealth. Your income has to grow faster than the economy. Unfortunately, we have massive amounts of student loan debt and earnings will not grow faster than the debt burden that just kicked in, says Wilson. So it's just something just to look at. And then if you go down and you look at these numbers here, it breaks it down. Married Black women with a bachelor's degree over 60 have a median net worth of $424,000, while white women have a net worth of $778,000. Single Black women with bachelor degrees 20 to 39 have a median net worth of $11,000 to zero. White has a net worth of a range of $3,400 to $7,500. The median Black women bachelor's degree from 20 to 39 median wealth network is 20,500 to 7,700, while white women have a net worth range of 18,000 to 18,700 to 97,000.
So if you see the first two categories, the net worth is in the negative, as opposed
Right.
to white women net worth is in the positive.
Right. And that's why the thing is, what we got to constantly keep telling our people is like, hey, hold on to that money. Don't go out there and spend your money on the best things that you see. Just always continue trying to do something that's going to benefit your family in the end. Now, lastly, I think we got everything covered. I think I got one last video, and then we out of here for the night. Okay, where is it at? Oh, yeah. This is a good one right here. I think you're gonna like this one. All right, you can see that though?
The guy chanting build that wall? How is the guy promoting mass deportation? How is the guy demonizing immigrants the guy you'll support when you know my kids and you know their mom? Even if it's just me, you're a single issue voter, right? You know me personally. You know what him becoming the president does to my reality. And that's still a decision that you're willing to make. And I'm supposed to still be your friend. So how is the guy?
That was deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's people that's just starting to wake up from that slumber. All right, one last one, and then we done for the night. All right. Well, I guess what we'll do is we'll go ahead on and close this and call this a show for the night. Any final thoughts? Final
Man,
thought?
for the final thoughts, man, again, we are in the beginning of 2025, and I'm looking to see a good year through. And so far, we've been getting some good news coming through, and we've been able to provide you guys some great content. And the content is always revolving because the news is always revolving. And we're just trying to stay on top of it with the latest information that we already took our time to figure it out so we can come out here and give it to y'all. So, with that being said, just take your time, like, share, and subscribe. It don't hurt. Uh, you never know who you're going to inform. We always here to help shape a better future for everybody moving forward. So, thank y'all.
Chosen one, did you got anything you want to add? Reynolds, you got anything you want to add before we get off? Okay, he's off. All right. You got anything you want to add, Reynolds, before we get off?
Agree with 25 being a great so far because many people have been miserable right now at this time. But I say the year 25, with the president we have, there's a lot of things coming up that we that we will have things to talk about. You know, a lot of things, and we're gonna see what happened. We'll see what happened.
All right. So I'll take this chance to do a complete closeout on tonight's simulcast this evening. Want to thank everybody for joining in again. We know we had a lot of stuff. We had a lot of stuff crammed into this show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We've been on here. It's almost 2 hours now. I know some of us got to get out, get the kids and stuff fed, and get ready to get started on to our next day. So as we continue to hear news stories as they come up over the next couple of hours, just stay tuned. Join us. Follow us on Facebook at Men for Better Futures on Facebook. Also follow us on MFBF on YouTube, and also join us on Rumble as well as Twitch, Men for Better Futures on Twitch. Thank y'all for tuning in on Twitch this evening. Also, thank you to everybody that joined us this evening. We know we didn't have a lot of comments and stuff come in tonight, but I guarantee you on Sunday we got a show that's going to be jam packed with a lot of local stuff of what's going on inside of our communities and stuff. So I think it's going to be a pretty good treat for everybody. We got Mr. Wilcox is going to be joining us on Sunday, and he's going to be talking about some stuff that's going on within his community and what type of things that he's trying to see get done with the government, as well as rooting out corruption and waste. You know, this is a platform, this is an open space. You can be able to talk about a lot of different things when it's a non-judgmental zone. So If you feel like that is something that you want to hear or you want to talk to us about, you can email us at mfbf at mfbf772@gmail.com with all the information and stuff. It'll be located at the bottom of this description after this video. Thank y'all for tuning in. Two fingers. May God be with you all. Be blessed, be strong, be kind, be careful of what you do and how you do. Make sure you keep your papers on you.
Keep your papers
Because
on
you're
you.
out here pulling over anybody of color.
Yeah, it
So
ain't
just
easy.
be smart, know your rights, and be safe. God bless you all, and thank y'all for tuning in this evening.
All right,
Two
y'all.
fingers.
Peace.